What would you do if you discovered human eyes blinking inside a customer's hair? For Agnes, that horrifying moment was just the beginning. "Why did you touch my eye?" the customer shrieked, her face contorting with impossible rage as Agnes's comb made contact with the pulsing eye hidden within the dark strands. The salon clock showed it was now past 5 p.m., though the woman had arrived at 9 a.m. How had 8 hours vanished in what felt like minutes? As the enraged customer stormed out, leaving inhuman footprints, Agnes realized with chilling certainty whatever had entered her salon wasn't human, and it wouldn't be leaving her life so easily. Agnes was the pride of her small town near Port Harcourt, Nigeria. At just 25, she had transformed her modest hair salon into the most sought-after beauty destination in the area. Her fingers worked magic, turning ordinary hair into stunning creations that made women feel beautiful and confident. The salon itself was simple but spotlessly clean. 2 black leather chairs faced large mirrors framed in silver. Hair products lined the white shelves against the wall. Shampoos, conditioners, styling gels, and hair masks that Agnes selected with care. A small television in the corner played Nigerian music videos, adding a pleasant background to the constant hum of conversation and laughter. Agnes had come far from her humble beginnings in a poor village in Enugu. The eldest of 6 children, she had learned hairdressing as a teenager, practicing on her sisters and neighbors until her skills became renowned. When she moved to Port Harcourt to seek better opportunities, she brought nothing but determination and talent. Starting with a tiny rented space and a single chair, Agnes worked tirelessly. She woke early each morning to prepare her salon, stayed late to accommodate working women who needed evening appointments, and never turned away a customer, even when exhausted. Her warm smile and genuine interest in her clients' lives earned her loyalty that advertising couldn't buy. Within 2 years, Agnes employed 3 apprentices who eagerly absorbed her techniques. She sent money home every month, gradually improving her family's situation. She paid for her younger siblings' education, helped repair their family home, and even purchased a small generator so they could have reliable electricity. Despite her success, Agnes remained humble. She attended church faithfully every Sunday, volunteered to help less fortunate members of her community, and never engaged in the gossip that flowed freely in her profession. Her faith was the cornerstone of her life, a solid foundation that guided her decisions and interactions. "God has blessed me," she often said, "and I must be a blessing to others." Agnes didn't believe in the superstitions that many others held. When clients discussed witchcraft or told ghost stories, she would listen politely, but dismiss such notions privately. The world operated according to God's plan, she believed, not through mysterious supernatural forces. On that fateful Tuesday morning, Agnes arrived at her salon just before 7 a.m. She swept the floor, arranged her tools, and prepared for another busy day. The early morning sunlight streamed through the windows, creating patterns on the tiled floor. Outside, the town was waking up. Street vendors setting up their stalls, motorcycle taxis zooming past, the aroma of frying akara filling the air. At precisely 9 a.m., the bell above the door jingled. Agnes looked up and saw a woman she had never seen before. The stranger was tall and slender, dressed in an expensive-looking purple wrapper with intricate gold embroidery and a matching headscarf. She carried a leather handbag that Agnes recognized as an expensive designer brand. The woman appeared to be in her late 40s, with smooth skin and an air of quiet dignity. "Good morning. Welcome to Agnes Beauty Salon," Agnes greeted with her customary smile. The woman nodded slightly. "I need my hair washed and dried, nothing else." Her voice was soft yet authoritative, the kind that expected obedience without raising its volume. Agnes noticed that despite the woman's elegant appearance, something about her seemed slightly off. Her eyes didn't quite focus on Agnes, and her smile didn't reach those eyes. "Of course, please come this way," Agnes said, gesturing toward the washing station. The woman settled into the chair, removing her headscarf to reveal thick, shoulder-length black hair with no trace of gray. Agnes adjusted the chair and prepared her supplies: shampoo, conditioner, towels, and her favorite wide-toothed comb for detangling. "What's your name?" Agnes asked as she ran water to check the temperature. After a pause, the woman answered, "Rita." Agnes began by wetting Rita's hair, applying shampoo, and massaging her scalp with practiced fingers. The salon was unusually quiet. Normally by this time, at least one of her apprentices would have arrived and several clients would be waiting. But today, Agnes was alone with Rita. As she worked the lather through Rita's hair, Agnes noticed something peculiar. The hair felt unusually heavy, almost as if it were weighted down with something more substantial than hair. And it seemed to move slightly beneath her fingers, not quite like normal hair being manipulated during washing. Agnes rinsed the shampoo, applied conditioner, and began to comb through the strands. That's when she saw it. A slight parting in the hair revealed what unmistakably looked like an eye. A human eye, nestled among the dark strands, blinking slowly. Agnes froze, her heart pounding in her chest. She blinked hard, certain she was seeing things. But when she looked again, the eye was still there, watching her. And now that she had noticed one, she realized there was another eye a few inches away. "Is everything all right?" Rita asked, her voice still soft, but now with an edge that sent chills down Agnes's spine. "Yes, everything is fine," Agnes managed to say, her voice steadier than she felt. She continued washing, pretending she hadn't seen anything unusual. In her mind, she began reciting the psalm she had memorized since childhood. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." Her fingers trembled slightly as she worked. Agnes considered her options. She could confront the woman, but what if she became angry? She could stop the service, claim an emergency, but something told her that might be dangerous. Instead, she decided to finish the service as quickly as possible while continuing to pray silently. But something strange was happening with time. Agnes glanced at the clock on the wall and was shocked to see that 2 hours had passed, though it felt like only 20 minutes. The shampoo and conditioning should have taken 30 minutes at most, yet the clock said it was now 11 a.m. More disturbing still, no other customers had entered the salon. Tuesday mornings were typically busy, with market women coming in before heading to their stalls. Agnes's phone hadn't rung either, which was highly unusual. As she began to dry Rita's hair, Agnes couldn't resist. She deliberately touched the spot where she had seen the eye with her comb. Immediately, Rita let out a piercing scream that seemed too loud for the small salon. "Why did you touch my eye?" Rita shrieked, jumping from the chair and turning to face Agnes. Her face was contorted with rage, her features somehow altered. Her eyes, the normal ones on her face, had turned completely black, and her teeth seemed sharper than human teeth should be. "I'm sorry," Agnes stammered, backing away. "I didn't mean to." "You knew what you were doing," Rita hissed. "You Christians think your faith protects you from everything. Let's see if your God can save you from me." With those words, Rita stormed out of the salon, leaving wet footprints that Agnes noticed with horror didn't look like human feet at all, but rather like the clawed feet of some large bird. Agnes collapsed into a chair, shaking. She looked at the clock again. It was 5:30 p.m. Somehow, the simple hair washing had consumed the entire day. She quickly locked the salon door and called her apprentices, but none answered. It was as if the entire day had happened in some separate reality. That night, Agnes barely slept. She prayed continuously, keeping her Bible open beside her bed and a small cross clutched in her hand. Around midnight, she heard scratching at her window, like fingernails on glass. Then whispers, unintelligible words that nonetheless filled her with dread. By morning, Agnes was exhausted but determined to face whatever was happening. She went to her salon as usual, finding her apprentices already there, behaving as if nothing unusual had occurred the previous day. When she questioned them about their absence, they looked confused, insisting they had been there working alongside her all day. Over the next few days, strange incidents multiplied. Clients complained that their hair felt uncomfortable after Agnes styled it, as if something was crawling on their scalps. Tools disappeared and reappeared in different places, and always, Agnes felt watched, even when alone. She consulted her pastor, who listened gravely to her story. "What you encountered is a manifestation of evil," he told her. "This entity, this Rita, has targeted you for some reason. We must pray for protection and guidance." The pastor organized a prayer session at Agnes's salon after hours. Church members gathered, singing hymns and praying fervently. Agnes felt better afterward, wrapped in the support of her faith community. But that night, as she walked home, a tall figure stepped from the shadows. "Your prayers won't save you," Rita said, her voice now hollow and echoing strangely. "I died in pain 3 years ago on the road to Port Harcourt. No one stopped to help me. No one cared. Now I take what I want." Agnes gathered her courage. "Why me? Why my salon?" Rita's laugh was cold. "Your happiness offends me. Your success, your faith, your light, it burns those of us in darkness. I'm not alone, Agnes. Many of us watch you." Before Agnes could respond, Rita vanished, not walking away, but simply ceasing to be there. The next morning, Agnes discovered her neighbors had been complaining about nightly noises from a nearby abandoned apartment, the very apartment Rita had lived in before her death. People spoke in hushed tones about lights seen through the windows, though the electricity had been disconnected years ago. Agnes's battle with Rita intensified. Items in her home moved on their own. Cold spots appeared randomly in her apartment. Her clients began canceling appointments after hearing rumors of curses associated with her salon. Agnes refused to give in to fear. She increased her prayers, fasted, and surrounded herself with symbols of her faith. She researched spiritual warfare, learning protective prayers and rituals from her church elders. One night, unable to sleep due to persistent whispering around her bed, Agnes confronted the darkness directly. "In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to reveal yourself," she said firmly. The air shimmered, and Rita appeared, but not as the elegant woman from the salon. Her form was twisted, her skin gray, her eyes those same strange eyes Agnes had seen in her hair. "You can't win against me," Rita hissed. "I don't need to win," Agnes replied. "Christ has already won. You have no power here except what fear gives you." Rita screamed, a sound like metal tearing, and lunged toward Agnes. But Agnes stood her ground, holding her Bible and reciting songs. The apparition seemed to hit an invisible barrier. "Your time in this world is done," Agnes said. "Go to your rest and leave the living alone." For hours they remained locked in this spiritual confrontation, Rita attacking and Agnes standing firm in her faith. As dawn approached, Rita's form began to fade. "This isn't over," she threatened. "What you love will burn." The next day, Agnes went to her salon early, planning to thoroughly clean the space with blessed water her pastor had provided. But as she turned the corner onto her street, she saw smoke rising. Her salon, her dream, her livelihood, was engulfed in flames. Firefighters battled the blaze, but it was too late. By the time the fire was extinguished, nothing remained but charred ruins. The fire investigator was baffled, saying the fire had multiple points of origin, as if it had started in several places simultaneously. Agnes stood before the smoking remains of her business, tears streaming down her face. Everything she had worked for was gone. But as the sun rose higher, Casting light on the devastation, Agnes squared her shoulders. "You took my salon," she whispered, knowing Rita could hear her. "But you didn't take my life, my faith, or my spirit. You have no more power over me." In the weeks that followed, Agnes' community rallied around her. Church members offered financial support. Former clients insisted she style their hair in their homes until she could rebuild. Her apprentices remained loyal, following her from house to house as she continued working. 6 months later, Agnes opened a new salon, twice the size of her original one. At the entrance, a small plaque read, "Faith overcomes all darkness." Her experience had changed her. She was more compassionate toward those who believed in things she couldn't see, more understanding of the thin veil between the world she knew and the mysteries beyond. Some nights she still heard whispers. Sometimes she glimpsed moving shadows from the corner of her eye. But Agnes no longer feared these things. She had faced darkness and emerged stronger, her faith tested and proven. In her new salon, a special chair remained empty each Tuesday. "That's for those who need rest," Agnes would explain to curious clients. And if some claimed they occasionally saw a tall woman sitting there, her face peaceful rather than angry, Agnes would simply smile and say, "Everyone is welcome here, as long as they come in peace." The battle had cost her much, but Agnes had won the war. Not through supernatural power of her own, but through unwavering faith and the courage to stand firm when facing the unknown. Her story spread throughout the region, a reminder that even in the darkest times, light finds a way to shine through.